Hello YouTube, it's Ben here from Team America 1, coming at you guys with an in-depth video on my Sylvan deck. This is going to be sort of an update and delve into what I've been thinking about currently with this deck, currently how it will fare in this new format with Shaddolls, Tellarknights, Burning Abyss, and Yang Zing all being brought to the TCG. Regionals for me is on August 23rd, so it is coming up. And I've been trying to test for it. I haven't really played any against Shaddolls or the new set, pretty much, so I've yet to determine what needs to be changed, but in this video, it will be longer, as I will talk over the deck that I've been playing now, or the build that I'm playing now, and then certain things I can play to change it. So, this is a build that I played for the sneak peek, and it worked fairly well. I was on the verge of being undefeated, not sure how it would have played out. I ended up giving my wins away to some friends because I knew I had to leave, but I was on the verge of being undefeated, so not sure how that would have turned out. One of the people that I gave my win to actually won the tournament, so that's nice. But anyways, let's just get straight in. I'm going to move these aside, and we will be referring to this stuff as well. So, yep, I'm going to just zoom in here real fast, and then we can begin. So, starting off with your Hermitries and your Sages. These cards are staple. I would not change this at all. You have to play 3 of each of these to keep the deck good and consistent. And you could say that maybe this is not as consistent as it should be, but in my opinion, 3 and 3, absolutely mandatory. I play 3 Princess Sprout instead of 2. I really like this card. It's never been dead for me. I've always found myself needing the second or the third. And then I've opted to play 2 Marshall and 2 Como. So what this does is it maximizes the amount of Sylvans that I will be hitting without me actually playing 3 copies of each. So of these 3 separate cards, Princess Sprout, Marshall Leaf, and Como Shurimu, I wanted to max out on at least one of them. And I decided Princess Sprout would be the best at making Felgrand or Draco Sack, and those are your big Exceed plays. Drawing into both Como and Marshall Leaf do have their benefits, but half the time these cards will not actually be normal summoned on the field, unless you have a very dead hand, which makes these better. But if I had a choice to maximize out on any one of these 3 cards, it definitely would be Princess Route. Another reason behind maxing out on the amount of Sylvans instead of, as Patrick Coben did, minimizing the amount of Sylvans, is I want to have the best random chance of excavating a plant from my deck. What that means is I want to be able to confidently make special out a Hermitry and maybe not have a setup play, and then excavate and possibly hit a plant that could draw me into what I need. There's lots of times where you do brick with this deck, and you don't have the perfect setup that you need, so a lot of the times you just need to get out a Hermitry in any way possible, and then hope that you excavate something good to get your plays going. But in the aspect of playing that, I probably should max out on Marshall and Como, but drawing those cards is just very bad. And drawing Princess Route, with her effect, you can just continually recycle what you need. So that's really nice. For the remaining plants, I played the double Lone Fire because you have to, and Spore. And Spore just helps with Synchro plays and Exceed plays, so Spore is awesome. Double Rose Archer. In the newer upcoming formats, I feel like this is either going to be played at 3 or at 0. I'm not quite sure how the format's going to be coming about, so Rose Archer may or may not stay. It's been working really well so far. It did put in a lot of work against Hat, and it put in a lot of work against Lightsworn in my matchups. And it also put in some work against the Noble Knight player that I played. So this card just is a good defensive hand trap, although I'm not a big fan of hand traps this format, due to the fact that, I don't know, with the opening with 5 cards, you want to open with your Lone Fire Soul Charge. You don't want to open with a bunch of hand traps that will eventually be dead anyways. So, and then for the last 2 monsters, I played Double Curry Bandit. Playing 3 of this guy is, in my opinion, bad because you'll see it too often. You want to have, like I said, plenty of resources in the deck to make your plays, and 3 Curry Bandit often becomes dead later on in the game, and you don't want dead draws, especially if you are in the aspect of top decking. So 3 Curry Bandit just got really cloggy because I'd find myself opening 1 copy or 2 even, and then activating Curry Bandit and then excavating like the second and stuff like that. So I just don't want that to happen. I'd rather have the chance of opening it by playing 2 and then mid to late game having it, I guess. But I know playing more increases the chances of drawing it, but that's also what I don't want. I'd rather draw pieces like Lone Fire and etc. So for the spells, 1 Book of Moon is the best -1 spell in the game. Dark Hole, Dark Hole is amazing right now. This card helps get around cards that say no targeting. So if your opponent has like a turtle in the graveyard and not a hare, you can Dark Hole safely and hope that they don't have the Lance. Dark Hole is also really good against cards like Madrat when they have their equip spells that make it so they can't be targeted. But yeah, so Dark Hole is really powerful right now. I do play the 1 Foolish, and I don't play Blaster. My reasoning behind not playing Blaster is I want the targets engraved for Soul Charge, and that means keeping my Hermitries and keeping my Lone Fires in the graveyard instead of being banished. The reason why I used to play 2 Hermitry, and I bumped it up to 3 because I found it getting bottomless a lot, and having that 1 less Hermitry made it so my Soul Charge and Miracle Fertilizer plays were a lot weaker. I also feel that if I did play Blaster, I'd have to max out on Komish Rumor to give myself more targets. Foolish Burial, though, is really good. Opening this and sending a Hermitry and then Miracle Fertilizing it back is really powerful. Again, that's why I max out on plants, because sometimes you don't have a recover play outside of that, and you need to just randomly excavate a plant to get more plays going. I do play the 1 Terraforming and then the double Sylvania. This is the best, in my opinion. 2 and 2 just didn't work out. I'd either draw 1 Terraforming and 1 Sylvania, or I'd just open both Terraforming and it'd be completely dead for me. So this has been working really great. I've either drawn the Terraforming or drawn this. I've never actually opened both of these cards at once, which is really nice. And then Triple Charity. It keeps the deck super consistent, and that's what you need. And then Triple Fertilizer, the best card outside of Soul Charge. So yeah, that's it for the spells. And a lot of people don't play traps. I opt to play 5. These traps have actually worked really well for me and made it good, in my opinion, for especially the locals environment that I've had. So these spells or traps have helped my playing, I guess. I don't know. This is more my play style again. So I do play the 1 Solemn Warning. Solemn Warning is a great card. I played the double Breakthrough. Breakthrough is really good against Hat for stopping the Moral Tox, Beagle Talk, and even stopping Mermilio from getting her search. So Breakthrough skill is just really powerful right now. I feel it's better than Phoenix Chain, because you can use it in the graveyard. So if your opponent does decide to Sanctum and then Moral Talk, you can banish Breakthrough skill from your graveyard, which is really nice. So Breakthrough skill is good on that. And then the last 2 traps I main deck are 2 Decree. I pulled these out of my side deck. 1, because the locals that I am at plays a lot of decks that probably if you open Decree and any monster like Felgrand, you win, because your opponent just plays so many trap cards. So Decree is just really good. And then I know playing Decree with other traps is bad, but there's a reasoning behind that, and I'll explain. But Decree is just really good in the Hat matchup. It gives you a main deck option to stop your opponent's set 5 pass. Yes, they do play Ignition. Yes, they do play MST, but Royal Decree helps set you up a board, and then if they Ignition it, that's fine. I'd rather have a board established and then they Ignition or Ice Hand my Decree than have myself getting Blackhorned of Heaven and Bottomless and Torrential and Compulsed, Deep Prison, Mirror Force, etc. So Decree also helps guarantee that my Soul Charge plays goes off. So if I Soul Charge for 4 and they activate Bottomless, I'll just Decree. And just for that turn. So It's really nice, unless they have like the MST or the ignition. Usually my play goes through, so that's really nice. Explanations, a lot of the times with breakthrough skill, it'll be activating from the grave, so decree doesn't affect that. You want to send this to the grave off of Curry Bandit. It's the most desired play in my opinion. And then warning, you're either going to have decree on the board and being in a winning position anyway, so you don't need the warning, or you're going to open warning before decree and then use the warning, draw in a decree later, and still be in a winning position. So with that being said, that's why I play these traps over other cards like Lance and stuff. I don't know. Another trap that I've been thinking about is bottomless trap hole. I played this for a while, but I just decided to cut it because of the decree main deck. So I'm sure the decree main deck will change. We'll definitely side it, but right now this has been working really great. I'd have to test against Shadal's though for myself to truly know how well or how good it is. For the side deck, this is just for what was I assumed was going to be there the weekend. So the double max C, never sided it because I played Hat, Lightsworn, and Lightsworn Ruler, and Noble Knights. And I should have sided this against Lightsworn Ruler, but it was just such an easy matchup for me. Double DD Crow. DD Crow is just all around a really good card. This card is better than Psycho Reader, hands down, because it can hit anything. So I sided the two Kaikus. I never sided them in. I'm not sure actually how good they would be, but I mean, it can't be too bad, especially against certain matchups where you want to banish their resources. So Kaiku is cool, I guess. Double Exceed Encore. It's Encore. Evil Storms, I never played them though. So, and then the triple MST. This may become a main deck thing now. I'm not sure. With Hat being less of a thing and Jadal's being more of a thing, this might enter the main deck somehow. I'm not quite sure. Maybe over the decrees, like 2 main deck instead of decrees. I'm not quite sure. But this card's really good against a mirror match, because you want to hit their fertilizers and you want to hit their field spell. If you resolve fertilizers and their your field spell first, you're most likely in a winning position from the non-out. So Typhoon is really good in that aspect. And then for the traps, double Rivalry. If you know how to play around it or use Rivalry to your advantage, it's a great card. If not, you probably shouldn't be siding it, but this card is just all around really good. And then double Different Dimension Ground. Different Dimension Ground has won me many games because of opponents not knowing what it does. It's really good against Lightsworn Rulers. During their in-phase mills, you just chain this and then banish whatever they mill, monster-wise. So it's really good. I actually got rid of like double JD and a Blaster because of this. He milled like 8 cards and he banished all of those, so that's really cool. But yeah, this card's just really good against Lightsworns. It's really good against a mirror match. You can side it in versus Hat too, which is really nice. Stop the hands from like getting their effects. And then onto the extra deck. I got these really 2 cool tokens. They're actually real, which is nice. So I kind of want 2 more, but the double Aurea. This card helps. It's a win condition pretty much. If you have Miracle Fertilizers, this card is a win condition. And then by itself, this card can help you get 10 cards into your deck and set up every play from then on out. Or 8 cards, I guess, into the deck. But it's like, I don't know. I say 10 because it uses 2 cards to make it. But usually you want to just be scrying the 8, or not scrying, but revealing or looking at the 8. Scry is a magic term, I'm sorry. But this card is just so good, and the fact that it doesn't target is just ridiculous. So 2800 is also a really big thing. But yeah, and it's a plant, so this card's your go-to plant for when you have Rivalry on board. Mech-equipped Engineer. This card is ridiculously good. A lot of Sylvan players that I've talked to don't play the rank 3s, and I question why, but Mech-equipped is just so good. It's like the best. I would play this over Alucard because you're not making a lot of rank 3s in this deck, and when you do, you want a defensive one. You don't want something that may or may not actually hit anything. So a lot of times if I'm making Mech-equipped, I'm going first. So there's nothing for me to pop with an Alucard anyways. So For the rest of the 7s, 1 Draco Sack, it's really good. This card's actually an out to Goes and Match as well with your Sage Akoyas, so that's really cool. The 1 Big Eye steals games, pretty much steals monsters. I'll say one of the best rank 8s in my opinion. I wouldn't say it's the best because Felgrand obviously takes that, but I'll say pretty much you put him in defense and you just give yourself 2 turns by returning stuff to the top of the deck. It's a Phoenix Wing Windblast on legs, and then if you have to, you can always poke for 23 for game. It's also a plant, which helps get what's it called? Under Rivalry, that's what I was going to say. 1 Grinder, this card has won me a ton of games as well by poking your opponent down to the point where they're just stalling on an Exceed monster like Zenmains or something. You manage to get something out to make it detach, and then you Giant Grinder for game. So Grinder is also really good against Girgia and anything that just heavily exceeds summons. So the 1 Sun Dragon Overlord of Heliopolis, this card is the best. The fact that it doesn't target is 1. The fact that if your opponent doesn't respond to initial activation and they cannot chain to anything to mid-resolution of the card. So you activate it, you ask for a response. If they say no, you tribute whatever, and then it just blows up whatever. And then they can't chain it, which is really cool. So if you activate this and then blow something up, let's say you're going to tribute their entire back row. They can't chain any of that back row because they'd have to chain it to the initial effect activating. A lot of people will try to chain it mid-resolution and they can't, and they get really mad. But that is something that I do shark about this card. So, Double Dragon Knight Felgrand. The 1 Black Rose, I hardly ever make this card. Stardust, I like this better than Spark. Scrap Dragon's really good. Colossal, this is in here for the mirror match. Crash into Felgrand, and then special summon it back out, which is really nice. Plus, if you do have Felgrands in your graveyard, it just gives it the added boost. And then the 1 Star Eater. Star Eater is cool. So there's that. But anyways, guys, that's it for what I played. Now on to like certain ideas that I've had, or certain cards that you can play. For the main deck and the monsters, other cards that I've thought about playing are the Marshall Leaf, Kumashurumu, and the Curry Bandit. These are all cards that could be in the main deck, but they're not because of choices right now. But giving myself the option is really what I want. There is the 3rd Sylvania that you could be playing. Sylvania, again, you don't want to draw it too many times, and I really do like the way it's at right now with 2, so I may just never put this back in. And then Rank Up Magic, the 7th one. I played this for a while. It was just, I found myself relying on this too much. Plus if you draw it with Charity, it makes it so you can't make a play until you draw this card. So you have to stop what you're doing, and that's what I didn't like about it. That's why I don't play it anymore. Because a lot of the times you're going to reveal it and stack it, and then you can't make any Hermitry play because you'll draw into it again, or you'll just excavate it from the top. So there's that. For the traps, Divine Wrath. I played this for a while, but -1s right now are pretty bad, especially opening with only 5 cards. I always choose to go first, but yeah. Bottomless, I already explained this since I played the Decrees. Phoenix Wing, this is the only -1 that I'd consider main decking again. The reason why I took it out is because of the Decrees. Like, honestly, the 2 Wing Blasts are the 2 Decrees. I love this card. Theory behind it is going second, or going first if you open this card and a way to discard a card. It makes it so your opponent's 1 draw literally goes back on top of their deck, because whatever they do, you're going to Wing Blast it to the top, and then they're automatically at the same level you are with the amount of cards, yet you got to set up your field first, which really helps slow their game state down, and then you can win from then on out because you're 1 card ahead of them and you went first. So, and with the amount of revival that you play, the ditching of like a Hermitry is not that bad. But I cut it because of the Decrees, and right now Decree is winning. For the extra deck, Crimson Blader can definitely be in the extra deck. Thought Ruler, I've thought about this for a while. I just haven't actually tested it. Armory Arm, I just never make it. That's the reason why it's out. But in testing, Spark, I may be putting this in if I get the Vanity's Emptiness in. I don't know yet. There's a C104 and 104 for your, what's it called, Rank Up Magic, and same with these. And then Master of Blades. Master of Blades is going to be, or in my opinion, is really good. The fact that can't be targeted, and etc. Also, Leo should be in here. I just found myself that if I was going to make Leo, I would always make Star Eater instead. So, and then for the side deck, there's Noblemen, which are definitely probably going to be going in because of Shadalls. Dust Tornadoes, I don't know how back row will be, so there's that. There's this, Chain Disappearance. This was really good against Madolches. Not sure. It may be good in a mirror match. Hitting the Lone Fire really is what you need to do. So, yeah, Chain Disappearance is cool. I like Chain Disappearance a lot, actually. It's one of my favorite cards, but yeah, it's not sidable right now. DNA Surgery, Boojins aren't really big anymore. And Rivalry is better than this, so that's my only explanation for not siding that. And then if the mirror match ever becomes a really big thing, I'm definitely going to be throwing Mystical Ref Panel back in my deck. With the amount of Sylvans played at my locals, there's like 5 Sylvan players, 6 Sylvan players. Ref Panel probably should be in my side deck more often. I've just found myself liking Different Dimension Ground a lot more in the Ref Panel. But this card just helps you plus so hard off your opponent's charities if you actually resolve it. So that's the reason behind that. But anyways, guys, that's it for this discussion. That's it for the deck profile. I know this is long. It's like 22 minutes, so it'll probably be 23 minutes by the end of this. But hope you guys enjoyed this. I do like talking about different deck ideas and different types of playstyles. I guess my type of playstyle is a very controlled build of this that can be aggressive if you open the Soul Charge. So, which is you want to do the most of the time, but like I said, the regionals will be on the 23rd for me. I do expect to play this deck unless I somehow magically pick up everything needed for Shadalls or Teller Knights. I really like Teller Knights. Deltaros is really powerful, but like I said, this deck is just really fun. It has a lot of recursion plays from the graveyard. The Exceed plays are really powerful. The Synchro plays are really powerful. So. The fact that you can just bring out a beater and attack over mid-rash is another really big plus to this card, because you only need the one special summon, and then you can go off. So you attack over mid-rash, and then you Princess Sprout into the Felgrand. And Felgrand really helps set up against the Shadall deck, so there's that. But yeah, guys, so that's it for the deck profile. Hope you guys enjoyed. And yeah, I guess I'll see you guys next time. But don't forget to comment, rate, subscribe. Like the video, share the video. I will be sharing this video a lot because I want people to give their input, and please do give your input by commenting down below. That would be really appreciated, because then I can know what you guys think about the deck and whatnot. So anyways, guys, that's it for the profile. Thank you guys for watching. Don't forget to comment, rate, subscribe, and I'll see you guys next time.